There was no shortage of celebrities populating this year's Super Bowl ads, but which ones captured the most attention? That's our Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin, and joining us is Google Director of Creative Partnerships, Sadie Thoma, talking about trends today. Hi, Sadie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, there were some big winners besides the LA Rams during the Super Bowl, and some losers too besides the Bengals. What do the trends reveal?
Well, people are always watching the Super Bowl with phone in hand and ready to search and look for more on the game, more on the halftime show, more on the ads. And what we saw from yesterday was no different, lots of activity going on. So in terms of searches, lots around the players. Number one searched player, Joe Burrow, quarterback for the Bengals. Number two searched player, Odell Beckham Jr. from the Rams, who scored the first touchdown of the game and then also was injured. So there was probably a lot of activity around him for those reasons. Number three, Matthew Stafford, quarterback for the Rams. Lots of players being searched for. And also, of course, lots of ads being searched for too and watched on YouTube.
And I noticed that there was interest in the teams depending on the geographic location of the viewer. It was a real interesting map that you had before the game or during the game and then after.
Right. Before and during the game, it actually before the game, there was a lot of searches for the Rams. Then I would say leading closer to the game, it was sort of half and half. And then, of course, after the game, pretty much all Rams. But that is again to be expected when we're talking about the winning team.
What about the ads and which ones are gathering the most attention, the most views? You're getting millions and millions of views of these ads online on Ad Blitz that Google's YouTube has.
Yes. Well, youtube.com/adblitz has every ad from the game. So if you missed anything or you stepped out to get some nachos or whatever it might have been, you can check out all the ads you may have missed or want to watch again on Ad Blitz. The top three ads, actually, to your point, all feature celebrities. And the number one being Amazon's ad about the mind reader. And this was with Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost. And they were essentially living a life as if their Alexa device was reading their minds in all these funny scenarios. So that was pretty good. Number two was T-Mobile's spot for their internet. So it was the Duet for Home Internet with Zach Braff and Donald Faison. And then the number three biggest ad was Hyundai for the Ioniq 5. It was the history of evolution, talking about innovation over the years. And that featured Jason Bateman. So those are the three biggest ads from the game day. And there were many more really great ads. There was for Rakuten, we had Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso. Booking.com had Idris Elba. BMW had a great electric vehicle ad with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Salma Hayek. So lots of fun and lots of auto EV and lots of crypto too.
Yeah, I noticed that the crypto left a lot of people, maybe older viewers, scratching their heads. What's this? But the interesting thing is there were a lot of EV ads for different vehicles. They're very interesting. Of course, Tesla doesn't advertise at all, so we didn't see anything from them. But Toyota chose to go a different route with their ad, but had a lot of celebrities on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the different approaches. I'm pretty sure that every auto ad was for EV, which is also interesting. Polestar had an ad, actually, because you mentioned Tesla. Then, as we said, there's BMW, there's Hyundai, there was Kia, there was the Austin Powers GM ad. There was a lot of talk about EV. What I find interesting about those ads is really, it's more about a future state, because a lot of those cars actually aren't even on the lots yet. So, it's hyping up the point that EV is the future and starting to create brand preference by these marketers so that as folks are starting to show interest and get ready for this new line of the auto industry with electric vehicles, they're considered on top.
It's interesting too, because sometimes with some of the funniest ads, the comical ones, you're not sure what's being advertised. It's kind of like a mini skit done in 60 seconds. And then what was that commercial for? But they were entertaining.
That's true. And I will say, I thought that with Larry David and the FTX crypto ad, where it was all these funny scenarios where he had called things the wrong way, like the invention of electricity. And he was like, I don't think it's going to work, along the years. And then it gets to FTX and crypto. And he's like, I'm not sure. But, I thought that was an interesting, almost felt like a mini sitcom skit up until the end when you realized what it was for. But, advertisers try many different techniques, and it's all about storytelling, and it's all about really going big on storytelling for the Super Bowl. So you try different things, you try to capture people's attention. And by the way, for some of those longer ads where there's different scenarios, you do go back to YouTube or you go elsewhere to try to rewatch them and try to, capture something you may have missed. So that's, again, another reason why we see a lot of activity and a lot of people rewatching ads during and after the game.
Yeah, the Larry David ad was funny. And then Morgan Freeman shows up. And sometimes it seems like celebrities are hired because they're celebrities, and that's the name of the game. That was for Turkish Airlines, I think.
Yep, that's right. The Pangea, yes, and that voice. He's got such an epic voice. So, yeah, the other interesting thing that we saw actually was a lot of people this year watched the ads for the Super Bowl on their TV screens. In other words, they were watching YouTube on connected TV. So we saw that actually watching Super Bowl ads on TV screens rose 35% year over year on game day. That just shows the behavior changes that we're all sort of embracing connected TV in a bigger way. And oftentimes the Super Bowl, you're with a lot of people. So if you're watching on the big screen and you're watching now your ads on the big screen with a bunch of people, it adds a lot of opportunity for talk value, discussing the ads, sharing them, kind of navigating a bit further. So we're seeing a lot more activity as it relates to YouTube on the big screen.
What about the halftime show? What kind of attention did that get online?
That has gotten a ton of attention. It was a really awesome show. So amazing lineup and lots of activity. There was searches for all the performers. There were, I think the most searches we saw were for Mary J. Blige. And, people are searching for what is Dre Day or how tall is Dr. Dre. There was search around how old are each of the performers, how old is Mary J. Blige. I think that show was also, there was a surprise visit from 50 Cent. So people were wondering who that was at first and who sings It's Your Birthday. But overall, I've seen a lot of really positive sentiment about that halftime show. And it was a nice throwback for a lot of us.
Yeah, history lesson for a lot of people. Really, it was.
That's right. That's right.
So overall, can we gauge anything from this year? Just a lot more attention online. You said there were a lot more searches on the big screen on YouTube. Does that mean people weren't watching the game, that they were casting their phones to the screen?
No, I think that they're doing both. I think that what's happening is that there's just a lot more people watching on connected TVs. So you'll watch the game, but then also maybe afterwards you'll put YouTube on TV and you'll watch, oh, I remember this ad, or I didn't see that one. And or you're looking at sports highlights from the game, or, behind the scenes. There's so much content online, especially on YouTube as it relates to sports, that people are going to YouTube as a destination to dive in deeper on their favorite players, to dive in on the ads, to rewatch the halftime show, and more. So we're seeing just a tremendous extension of digital sports content consumption in general. And again, the ads, this is the time. And this is really the Super Bowl of ads too, because marketers go so big. So it's really a lot of fun for us to see who's searching for the biggest ads, or what are the terms that are popping and questions being asked. And we continue to learn every year. I think that there's some staples that we see, which are comedy works very well with ads, Super Bowl ads, inspiring ads. There's definitely trends that continue, but it's always exciting to see marketers continue to try to find new ways to tell their brand stories and new ways to storytell during a time when you have such a captive audience and such a talk value opportunity.
Yeah, one ad that sticks in my mind that we haven't mentioned was the Pringles ad, which for some reason I thought was really funny.
Yes, stuck on me.
Stuck on me,
That
getting your hand stuck and living your life right through death
living your
with the
life with a
can on your
Pringles.
hand.
That was very funny. And I will say our kids loved that one because they could relate to that potentially happening to them, maybe, I guess. But that was a fun one and very entertaining. Also, you may have seen that Google had an ad during the game last night for Real Tone on our Pixel device, and was very proud of that ad because essentially it's highlighting Google's mission to ensure that our camera and our imaging products are equitable for all and able to reflect all skin tones. So that was a really, more poignant ad, of course.
Certainly is a terrific feature in the new Pixels.
Yes, definitely.
Terrific. So once again, where can people turn to take a look at the ads that they may have missed or would just want to rewatch?
Yes, youtube.com/adblitz. We have all the ads from the game there. You can watch them, rewatch them, share them, and it's a lot of fun. We love doing that. It's their 16th year with AdBlitz and keeps getting better and better.
Terrific. Sadie Thoma, thank you for taking the time with us.
Thank you for having me.